Well, hello, YouTube. Welcome back, campaigners. If you're returning, welcome all new people who I hope will come back again and become one of my campaigners. This is Campaign Terrain. I am your host, That Guy Cross. This is the basement. And yeah, it's been kind of a crazy week. So I'm going to do some house cleaning, figurative, real quick before we jump into some things. And then I'm going to get back into some moss. So let's do the different before we do more of the same. This week I have a bunch of shout outs for different reasons for different people. And it's just purely stuff that caught my interest this week. And it's quite a lot. It has been a busy week. I almost never leave the house except to like go grocery shopping and come home. I had a friend come over on Thursday during the day. And then I had another friend come over Thursday evening, stayed for a couple nights. We did a whole bunch of running around with both of those, with the one friend first and with the other friend separate. And got a lot accomplished. It's been kind of a crazy weekend. All right, so yeah, let me get into the shout outs and the appreciation, and then I'll get into the mosses and such. First is Selrock from, I believe the channel name is Selrock Games. It's spelled S-E-L-R-A-C, R-A-H-C. So it shouldn't be that hard for you to find. Did some rocks this week with just paper and cardboard, and then more paper over it to texture it, and they came out looking great. And they got little places where you can elevations and flat things, so you can use them on the table. You can stack your minis on them and everything. Thought that was a really cool video. Favorite crafting video of the week. I watched probably 30 or 40, 50 of them a week. That's the one this week. Nat One Videos. Michael over there is back in the swing. He had a video just today of his new workshop. He's already put out a couple of videos utilizing it, but he sort of showed it off today. Had a real cool sort of vibe to the video today where he was just talking to you like I'm doing now. That's kind of why I'm doing this, but we'll get down to some crafting here in a minute, I promise. There is a channel that if y'all haven't checked it out, you need to go see it. It's called Colonel O'Truth's Miniature Business. And he makes astounding stuff. Now, he's already been doing this for like 2 or 3 years, and he's put out something every 2 weeks, and he's building an entire city with a story, from the tunnels underneath the river to the tunnels above where the river flows through to the church and the castle. And that's just the old city. That's just Undercrag City. He also is building a new one, which I am not going to be able to pronounce it correct. I believe it's Valencia, and it's an entirely different vibe from the other one, but it's connected in the same world. And he did a couple of intermediate videos as his focus is a traveling duo and their journey across. So it's all tied in together. The new city he's only built the first house yet, and it is coming along amazing. It's an entirely different style than the other video, and his attention to detail is and there's a couple of techniques, both from Selrock I mentioned earlier and from the Colonel, that I'm going to be swiping and utilizing because it's just brilliant. It's stuff that I'd never thought of. I see so many videos and I'm thinking, I never do anything new. I never see anything new. It's the same stuff, but I like how they did it because they'll take like this and this and this, which I've seen before, but they'll put them together this way. And that's always, but these two are like, yeah, oh, by the way, I'm doing a totally different thing. I'm just like, wow. Okay. So next one is my minion. I have a minion that comes over and helps every once in a while when they can. We went out and got me a mouse I needed for a computer, not this one, but for another one. We got a mouse. I needed some paper clips for actual use as paper clips, but I had to get the right size because I need them to be the right size for using them, but then they'll also be used as wires and such in my builds. So got that taken care of. Also got took a bunch of stuff to the e-waste recycler, so that not only cleared up some space in my house, cleared up some clutter in the back of my mind, and isn't going into a landfill. I wasn't going to put it in a landfill. And also, my minion helped me with the game I'm writing, so that helped clear some error as well. There's always that one thing where I'm trying to transfer a file to the other, and I have to edit it, and they help me by reading me the stuff in the right format so I can put it in. So that's great. Then there's DC, who is one of my Patreon patrons, and physically came over and helped me with some stuff, and also helped with the game I'm writing. Took me to a really nice dinner and helped with a lot of mental decluttering. I just having the chance to get out of the house with the two of them at the different times and talk about things was just amazing. And so that, but I'll mention DC again when I get to the when I show my patrons on the screen. And I see that Loosely Collected has just joined, and that is perfect timing because you're literally next on my list for things to shout out to, people to shout out to. I was looking back through my Discord for this channel for something random that had nothing to do with this at all, and came across some of your old minis that, and I'm like, oh, right. In addition to always hanging out here and giving me all the boost and support on the weekends, your mini painting is fantissimo. So you're literally on my little shout out list. So cool to see you. And last shout out is me. I have cleared a bunch of just little junk on my desk and made room to spread out. Now, if you remember, I had a bunch of stuff like stacked and encroached, and I've got places where I've got it stacked over there. So tonight when I'm working on it, I will be getting it and moving it over, doing the stuff, and then putting it elsewhere so that my brain's a little clearer here. In addition to that, somebody is collecting on a Discord that I'm on that's not mine, not this one. They are collecting pictures of people's cutting mats because lots of people paint on them and glue on them, and they're using it to kind of create an abstract thing. I don't know how many of you know this, but I have an absolute horrendous aversion to painting or gluing on my cutting mat. So as you can see here, I have nothing on my mat, paint or glue. I've got little speckles here and there, but no splashes, no huge colors, nothing blocking it. But I am very heavy-handed, and I cut into my self-healing mat. So I said that I joked that, well, all I've got is a lot of cut marks, and they were like, no, let me see it. So I sent basically the picture of what you're looking at to someone as well. So I couldn't have done that if I had not already cleared out my desk. So like I said, it has been a crazy cool week in the last like 4 or 5 days. So yeah, let me toss up my patrons and such here so that I can thank them duly, and then I will grab the moss and get to work on mossing with the mossy moss of mossing. So, that's not the logo. Logo's already supposed to be on. Why is the logo off? There we go. Thanks is the one I want. Okay, so these are my patrons. I have 3 so far. I could have more. Could be you. And Dungeon Matron, that's Lisa. I've talked about Lisa on all of my streams so far, or most of my streams so far. Her only presence online is her Discord, and a lot of us hang out there and chat. We had a good chat this last Wednesday. It's every Wednesday and every other Saturday, kinda. Sometimes life interferes. We all know how that goes. But generally speaking, lots of good conversation on the Discord, and a cool hangout at least every Wednesday evening. So that's Dungeon Matron. Patrick Walther, longtime supporter of the channel. Huge thank you for that. This channel would not go on if I could not afford things like just this last week. I got a bunch more glue sticks, and without the support of patrons and friends and all of that, I would not be able to keep the channel going. So huge shout out to everybody. Well, if I shout out to you, know it is truly heartfelt and appreciate it. And then there's DC again, Digital Calibrator. And I already told you, in real life friend, comes over, hangs out in the basement, hangs out in the house. We do stuff. Very cool stuff there. So that's my patrons. Now, let me turn that off. Click. And let me go to the right-hand cam. That's the one where I've got to, I can't ever turn on the light until I'm already pointing the camera at it, because otherwise I'll blind that front camera. Sorry about the wobble vision there for a second, but that should be able to get a pretty good view of what I'm working on tonight. Please, I always forget to tell people, like, share, and subscribe. And the one that's not on here, that's a big deal, please leave a comment below. The comments apparently drive the algorithm more than some of the other stuff. So, like, share, subscribe, comment. Thank you very much. All right, now let's turn on this light. Click. And I'm going to go get my, I don't know, something that needs greenery on it, and we'll get down to it. First, anybody got any questions while I'm here? Oh, hey, and Sim, I was just talking about you. You were the other one that was supposed to be on my list. I just went through a whole list of people. Okay, Sim Peasant has a channel called Sim Peasant, and has been getting back into Paleo lately, which is a game I already love. And she always plays super chill games on her channel. And her videos are always 15 minutes or less. So you're not going to waste all day, but it's a super chill time while you do it. There's no shoot 'em ups. There's no explosions. Laid back games. Very cool. So check out Sim Peasants. And I knew there was one I forgot off my list. There's always that one. Okay. So anybody else out there crafting, or y'all just hanging out, just listening to my mellow tones as I talk to y'all? This one's already on my collection tray for my scattery dusty bits that come off. So I'm going to go ahead and work on the ones that are already here. Now, basically what I'm doing is all these places where there's grass or moss, I am putting a different color, just lighter than I did last time, just slight dabs of. Last time I used this green, and this is a mix of mini greens. And this time I'm using, that's not the right one. That's the right one. Not that one. This one. I used this last week, and this week I'm using this. So you can see the difference in those. And also, once I'm done, I will be painting some, not tonight. I can do that next week if y'all want, but I may do that off camera if y'all don't want. I need to paint some yellows and bright greens on things just to give it tonality, because not all moss is the same color all over the place. So let's I'm gonna do this. We'll take these, put them here. Take these, set them. Now let's start with the ones that are not in a little trough. Set the trough of stuff over here. And yeah, let's get down to it. If y'all remember from last time, I put a bunch of flock in the bowl. Then I put a bunch of glue in the flock, and then I stirred it up to make a moss paste. I am probably going to do some of that tonight as well, but for right now, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take my very fine, that washes out the camera, my very fine nibbed glue at first, and if that's too small, then I'll get one of my ones with the larger nibs, and just put glue in some areas where over the other moss in little splotches, so that it's just a variation. That's what I'm doing, and a lot of this is just going to be sprinkling stuff onto things. So I need a little bowl I can easily get my fingers into, and I need the okay. Yeah, same bridge pieces, not more. I have a bunch of bridge pieces, but I haven't built any more. I do need to build some 6-inch wide ones. I'm going to build some that it's strange to me. They're going to be like this, except they'll be like double wide. And so it'll be 6 inches wide, but only 3 inches long, which is strange. But I'm building some 6-inch wide in 3-inch, 6-inch, 9-inch, and 12-inch. And I may also need some 4-inch for some stuff, but I don't know about that. But I will be building more of these, just, wider. All right, so pouring green blocky bits in here. For anybody who's curious about the flock, what brand it is or whatever, it's not. This is sawdust I got for free from both my two large box hardware stores. They will give it to you for free. I go in with a huge with a big plastic bag, a big tote bag of that will hold 6 of the large creamer jugs. And I take in my 6 creamer jugs, and I go to the thing, and I pull out any sticks from their saw where they cut lumber down for customers. Excuse me. And I tried to pick out all of like the big chunks and strips and things, move them, and collect just the smaller stuff. But then I also grind it in a coffee grinder, and then I sieve it. So I end up with a pretty uniform size of block that I can use for this moss I'm doing here. I can use it for grass. I can cover trees in polyfill, in like green painted polyfill, and then attach this to the outside, and it looks like leaves. So hugely versatile stuff for literally the cost of 3 to 4 drops of paint. Yeah, let's get down to it. Orc, Goblin, Troll, and related files for 3D printing. Getting ready to start an army soon. Very cool. Not my thing. I am not into the wargaming. I'm more of a role player, but very cool. And you never have enough goblins, really. Even in role playing game, you need more goblins. You need more I say greenskins, but I know that traditionally in all the older stuff, I don't know when they started. I think World of Warcraft maybe is when they started. Everybody started thinking that orcs and goblins are green and all that, but they're not really necessarily supposed to be. And but I still call them greenskins because it's easy. Everybody knows what I mean. And yeah, so building army is very cool, very cool. And yeah, Sauron lives. Oh no, rebuilding the orc army. Yeah. There's a whole story of what happens to like the orcs and such after the Lord of the Rings, and I find that story much more compelling than the prequel that they're making. I'm not throwing any shade on them. I haven't seen it. I'm not likely to see it. It's not particularly my genre, my IP that I enjoy. So that's neither here nor there. But if I was going to see one, I'd rather see the future of Middle Earth than the past of Middle Earth, if that makes any sense. Okay. And there you go. Oh, wow, that washed out. I don't know if you can see, but with those little bits of yellow and such in there, yellower in there, it just makes a huge difference from just the plain bland green. And that's all we're doing. It's really simple stuff. There's nothing to this. For anybody that's getting into this and they're like, oh my God, this is so complicated, and you just happen to stumble on my video here, it's not complicated. It's repetitive. Everything we do is repetitive. But if you plan ahead and have the prep time and do all that, then the stuff comes out so good and anybody can do it. Literally all I'm doing is taking that and just randomly, wherever the little blob comes out of the nib, I am just sticking some random yellowness to this. I'm not trying to repeat the heavy greenery like I did with last week's color. Like I said, I'm breaking up the colors. I'm not trying to do the same thing over again. It's more moss, but it's not the same way with the moss. So sprinkle it on. That glue will shrink when it dries. The way glue works is it's a bunch of little fibers in there, and when they're between the two layers of things, as they dry, they sort of, the moisture between them goes away and they sort of lay down and hold on to each other. That's basically what goes on with polyvinyl acetate, which is all the white glues. So if it's blobby and stuff like that, you got two things. One, just wait and it will probably pull itself in, or push it down while there's a bunch of sawdust on there. I don't typically do that with the moss. I have done with grass. And the third thing is you can always just come by and pick it off after. And if it's too big a blob, you can always redo it. This stuff costs like nothing. And if once you've learned the skills, redoing that one tiny fleck of moss that's just irritating you. Yeah. And then you've also got the consideration. I always point out what it looks like in our hands when we're holding it, this close to our faces, is not how it looks on the table. There's somebody referred to it one time as 3 foot fabulous. And I'm like, yeah, that's perfect. At 3 feet at table height, if it's on the table and your players are rolling dice and looking down at the thing, then it's 3 foot fabulous. It looks great. Nobody cares. Yeah. I mean, they do care. If you didn't have it, they'd be like, oh, you made that cool stuff that last time and now we didn't. But as far as if you have one drop of glue out or your moss isn't perfect moss in, 1/60th to 1/48 scale, and you're like, oh no, yeah, don't sweat that. Okay. And if you want, you can actually like blow it off, but I'm going to hit these with a clear coat later, and it's actually going to bond that stuff to it. That's going to be a clear matte spray by 2X, is that Krylon? I'm probably ticking some company off because I'm saying the wrong name. No, it's not. It's anyway, it's the spray called X2, and I use the matte clear varnish, and I spray from a distance, so even if there is any exposed foam, the accelerant's not high enough concentration by the time it hits the piece to melt the foam. By the way, if you're using most spray paints, there are foam safe spray paints, but if you're using most spray paints and you go to spray onto it, just be aware that most spray paints will melt most of the foam we build with. So just keep that in mind. Now this piece has no foam. This is all cardboard, hot glue, and sawdust, but some pieces. And so I'll end up hitting this with a clear coat, and I will be doing that from a distance with that spray, and all will be fine. Okay. That's standing up a little, but I find I really don't care. As long as the mini will stand on it at the end, I don't think that the moss sticking up like that. I'm not trying to get this perfectly in scale. If I was trying to get this perfectly in scale, all my bricks would be about that big. And no, I'm not doing that. Okay, I can't stack those. They'll glue to each other. So, okay, so Elsie's working on printing or getting STLs ready to print a new army. Let's see. Yeah, another prequel. Really. Exactly. Mrs. Lynn said, I would rather see the stories of the Southlanders of the Blue Wizards than any prequel. Yeah, and as far as I know, after The Lord of the Rings, Tolkien did not even really talk about the Blue Wizards. They may have been actually turned to the dark side and be the ones causing some mayhem in the Eastland, but I've only heard that theory on a couple channels, and other channels haven't touched on that at all when I've been watching, Lord of the Rings, making it up as we go along because nobody really knows what was in Tolkien's head, kind of videos. And some of them are pretty cool and have some interesting theories. But yeah, the Blue Wizards, I would like to see a lot more of that than Galadriel and jewelry guy. I can't remember his name. Mrs. Lynn will tell me here in a minute. I know that they know. The guy that Celebrimbor, that's it. Wahaha. Look at me remembering things. So, yeah, I'd a lot rather hear about the Eastlanders and Blue Wizards than Celebrimbor and rings being made and all that. It's kind of the same way of, I don't really watch like modern stuff, especially stuff like War stuff, or I used to be a huge Cowboys and Indians fan. Sorry, that's politically incorrect. A Westerns show fan when I was a wee tot, like up until I was about 8. And somewhere in there, I just stopped caring about Westerns, and I don't really know why. I know why I don't like them now, but I don't think I had those same sensibilities when I was, 9. But basically, I know what happened in the West. I know what happened in World War I. I know what happened in World War II. I don't feel the need to watch that per se. Okay, there you go. There it is with the 2 different colors of moss, and looks so much better in my opinion. And it was as simple as you saw me do it. Okay. Every once in a while, you can gather your stuff and save it, reuse the stuff. Now, this stuff is super cheap, and you can make it in huge quantities, but might as well keep it as long as possible so you don't have to make it in great quantities. Okay, I'm not going to have a way to carry those, so I need to go find another one of those troughs, and I think they'll fit in it. Will they? Yes. Okay, I'm going to find another trough. I'll be right back. I'm not really going anywhere. Y'all can hear me. I'm just stepping away from ye oldie screen there. All right. Okay. No, Gandalf's the guy. You gotta love Gandalf. Gandalf is it. You gotta do Gandalf. Mrs. Lynn is saying Gandalf is a lower rank angel than, well, at least out of the 5 that we know of that are on Earth, I believe is 4th ranked. Technically below the blue ones. We never see the blue ones. Anyway, doesn't matter. I do not know enough of the ins and outs of the minutiae. I only know what I pick up from all my friends, and all of my friends are into it. So, or know about it, even if they're not into it per se. So, yeah. Like the prequel TV show, I did wish they had gone more into the story of the hobbits and the predecessors. Yeah, and then they got the hobbits all wrong. I said I wasn't going to go into it. Here I'm going into it. The hobbits that they have 3 kinds of hobbits, and the 2 that are not the Shire hobbits, they got backward. The ones that have the name, that are the ones that we're supposed to see, that are all into leaving their children to die because they're scared or whatever. I haven't watched it. I just know what I've heard. But that's the wrong name. Those were the other tribes, not the right word. Offshoot branch. So they got the names wrong. But whatever. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not watching it, and I am not a diehard. So Hey, Kim, Questboard Terrain. Let's see what else we got. The show fired the experts and went on to make up their own stuff, and you refused to watch it. Yeah, I don't blame you. Hi, we have a whole bunch of people that know what they're talking about with Tolkien stuff. So we sent them packing, and now we're just going to make the show we want to make. Does not make for good. That does not fill me with belief that it's going to come out right. Are these different widths? They sure as heck are. All right, this will fit in here. So we will swap those out. And then we will take the wider trough and put my little walls on that because they fit. Okay. So Kim is here, Questboard Terrain, another fantastic channel. Got something cooking up for the farm challenge, so that's cool. Had recently did stuff on the outside of the comfort zone challenge as well. So go watch Questboard Terrain as well. Amazing channel, and tends to have stories with the builds, not just the builds, and the stories are every bit as good. So yeah, good to see you, Kim. Glad you could make it. Let's see what else we got going on. Eager for the reemergence of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. If it's a continuation of the old one? Yeah, I don't care. I didn't like the show. I can go into that one for hours because that one was really disappointing. But I'm going to go with I didn't like the show. If it's a total rework and it's none of the same people, I might be able to give it a go. I have opinions on Buffy, and they're not going to make anybody happy. So I'm going to keep that to myself. Straight stone bridge piece. Which piece are we meaning, Sim? This piece? This is designed to fit between two of my platforms and have like a canal or an alleyway running down below. Let me show you that real quick. This is just a wall. These can be put in sort of any combination you want just to make rooms or cells or whatever. These are just modular walls. Well, technically the bridges are modular as well, but the bridges do this. I have a bunch of pieces of either 6x12 that are lower and roadways. This is a walk. This is a roadway, and I have another one that comes by and is like 4 millimeters, 1/5 of an inch, 1/6 of an inch taller than this, and those are my city blocks. And this is designed to go. I didn't really take into account the fact that this will have to step onto a road. It's not really designed for the road. It's designed to be between the city blocks, not the road blocks. And it would just be a connection piece like this. On my city blocks video, you'll see what I'm talking about. They've got like 4 in a row that are about the city blocks. I've got the city blocks, and then I've got one with some walls, and I've got one with these, and then yada, yada, yada. So if these are what you mean, yes, that is a single bridge that goes across like that. If you're talking about these are modular walls that can be used, well, any way you want, I suppose. You could even have like the entrance to a garden or something. I just figured this out, and I love coming up with stuff like this. Say this is the entrance to your manor or whatever, and then you need a front wall to keep all the people out, so you can put these as the wall to your manor, and now that's the only way through. Or this could be the city wall, and they got to go through here to you got to get through a checkpoint to get into the city, or you got to pay a fee or a fine or what, whatever. Modularity is the key. Use it any way you want. Superman celebration. That sounds fun. Lots of people with their underwear on the wrong side of their pants. Nice. That's a joke. If y'all don't realize that Superman wears underwear on the outside of his pants, I hate to break it to you. Kind of been a thing we've known since the 40s. Crazy to me that it's like 85 years old or whatever. Something like that. Old. Older than me. When I say old, I mean older than me, because I'm old. But I am just making stuff up now. I am not talking any smack. This is just a thing that occurred to me, and I thought it was kind of funny. With the way that D&D used to be, it's all medieval and fantasy, and then they just kept sticking in more and sticking in more and sticking in more of the like tinkerers and such, and now you've got like blunderbusses and stuff like that. I am just thinking, I am so surprised that when the new Lord of the Rings show came out and they had like let go of all of the people that were actually experts on Lord of the Rings, I am actually surprised that Celebrimbor wasn't like a gunsmith. Yeah, so there's apparently supposed to be a final war on Buffy and Angel and all that, and I know none of that. I know nothing about any of that because I didn't enjoy the show, so I never watched it. I loved the first movie, but definitely a different feel to it. Okay, now, see how, you probably can't see, but there's little holes under my sand right here. And this is a perfect place. Now that I put moss on here and all that, now I know that I can come by here, put a little bit of glue in that hole, a little bit of glue in that hole, and when I drop this moss on here in a second, that hole is gone, just disappeared, never to be seen again. No one will care but me. So, yeah. I was joking with somebody yesterday that Paul Rubens, the actor that played that one vampire in Buffy in the movie, Paul Rubens has been dead like almost a decade now, and half a decade anyway. And I wouldn't be surprised if his vampire character is still dying and from that one scene, because that scene was so funny. He keeps going, but not quite actually dying. God, that movie has so many great lines. He took my arm. Kill him. Kill him a lot. Love that line. I have quoted that line many, many, many times. Mad at that guy. Kill him. Kill him a lot. Almost as good as, all right, listen up, you primitive screwheads. This is my boomstick. Oh, well, that sounds fun. Both Buffy and Angel ended up with characters running off to some supernatural war, but they never showed it. They just stopped. Well, that's kind of crummy, but oh well. Yep. Oh, yeah. Like I said, I never watched the show, so I don't care one way or the other about the series coming out. And I don't mean any offense by that to anybody who loves it. I'm not going to yuck your yum. It's just not my thing I'm all about. Now, what they needed more movies of, and maybe a series or two, is Buckaroo Banzai. That one drove me nuts. It even says at the very end of the movie, like the last thing is, stay tuned for more adventures of Buckaroo Banzai, and then nothing but the cartoon. We've never had anything but the comics since then. Loves me some Buckaroo. That needed to be far, far more pieces of media entertainment than it actually ever turned into. Okay, so you see with the two greens in mixed version, it just adds a layer of depth to it. Well, literally, but I mean, it looks better. That's what I'm saying. Okay, I did it again. Sometimes I lapse into quietude because I just get in that crafty mode. Sorry about that. Let me get this dust flaked onto here and then flaked off of this one. Then I'll look up the chat window again, see what y'all are getting up to. They got the mustard out. Yep. He was only been dead a few years. I just knew they had died somewhere in there. Musical episode in my head. Yeah, the musical episode I've got stories about because we ran it at a convention one time, and that was a spectacle. That was kind of cool. All those people having a great time, and I'm just like, okay, y'all enjoy. And they're like, oh, but what about blah and blah? And I'm like, yeah, I have no idea. I had people that were actually upset at me because I didn't know this stuff. Like, we can't. At that convention, there's 86,000 people. We can't all be into all of the same stuff. But yeah, so yeah, I've got special knowledge of the musical version. Plus, the musical, I don't know if it actually makes reference in the show to Rocky Horror Picture Show in the Buffy musical episode, but I'm a huge Rocky Horror fan, so the fact that people are calling it the Buffy Horror Picture Show gave me a giggle. Yes, that made me smile quite a bit, yes. Yeah, you said the secret word of the day. I should start making up a secret word and see if anybody says it in chat, but I have not done that in a long time. So, yeah. I know somebody that still likes a certain actor. I'm not saying the name yet. You'll see why in a minute. But didn't realize has had quite the appreciation of the overall effect of one actor. And they one time said to me, "Oh my God, I've had a crush on Cowboy Curtis since the '90s. I didn't realize that was Lawrence Fishburne." I'm like, "Yeah." Yeah, I should decide right now on a word of the day and just see if it comes up in chat. But really, how likely are y'all to say misanthrope or whatever? Love Pee-wee's Playhouse. Yeah, I'd be down for more Buckaroo Banzai. Oh, heck yeah. Secret word of the day. I was 10 years old and they were my transition from cartoons to TV shows, them and Saved by the Bell. Yeah, I can see that. God, I watched a thing on all the weird ups and downs about how Saved by the Bell literally makes no sense. Like, there's a character they haven't the way they were released was not the order they were shot in. There's a character they haven't even mentioned before who's suddenly like one of the gang in some of the episodes, and then they introduce her a few episodes later, and then she's in like a whole season where stuff goes on around her. She's part of the plot. She's involved, in the goings on, and then people who consider themselves to be Saved by the Bell. I'm not. I watched one video. Take this all with a grain of salt. Are like, who's that girl? I'm like, she was there for a whole season, apparently. Yeah. So anyway, I could not tell you her name or her character's name to save my life, but I did find that interesting in the video. All right. So, I still have one. Didn't realize I had one left. Okay, do y'all want to see more bridges done, or do y'all want to see me add it to some of the flat tops? Not this one. This one's a road. This won't have any moss in it, but the other ones. You want to see it on flat things, or do you want to see it on the bridges? I know I could put a pole up like right now in the middle of the thing, but one, don't know how, and two, my hand's covered in glue and fuzz. And three, I'm moving faster than that. I don't really want to do that. I was walking down the street just having a thing when the snake of a guy gave me an evil wink. He shook me up. He took me by surprise. He had the devils. I should probably stop that or I'm going to get demonetized. Or not that I am not monetized. By the way, I have a Patreon. But I can see me getting a copyright strike for singing Lil Nell's part. Yeah, I can go on and on and on about Rocky. They always joke at the local theater that if you've seen Rocky Horror in a theater or theater-like setting more than 1,000 times, you're cross. Yeah, I'm like, yep. Like, you haven't seen it that much. I'm like, oh, I have. For anybody who cares and really doesn't believe I'm serious about it, I have seen it in a movie theater, not during a practice session, because I have been on several casts that are in it, but I have seen it 1,198 times that includes being on cast and paying to get in, as just a patron. I've seen it 1,198 times. Now, a lot of those were at science fiction conventions because there is a local cast that does a show at a huge science fiction convention here every year, and I've seen it 13 times there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm a huge Rocky fan. I'm going to stop now. Take a deep breath, Cross. Nobody cares about Rocky Horror as much as you. Not even Richard O'Brien. Richard O'Brien, for y'all who don't know, wrote it and played Riff Raff. He was also the main bad guy in the movie Dark City, and not that they're bad, they're just weird. The main weird guy in Dark City, and he was also the King of Thieves in the earlier, in my opinion, better Dungeons and Dragons live action movies. Now, I like the new one too. I'm not talking smack. I just happen to like the campiness of the older one. And Richard O'Brien was the King of Thieves in that. And people go, "What's the King of Thieves?" I don't remember him at all. Whatever. The skinny bald guy. And they're like, "Oh, that guy." Yes, that guy. So that's Richard O'Brien. He wrote and directed Rocky Horror Picture Show. And he also wrote about 95% of the music in it, or at least helped with either the music or the lyrics. That song that I was sort of singing there a moment ago, he wrote that. And he also wrote the plot that that song refers to. So, you know, even if he didn't write it, he basically wrote it. Yeah. So, did I mention I know way too much about Rocky Horror? Yeah. There you go. There's one with the both colors, like I said, adds a little something to it. And these, the blobs of light green will settle in as the glue dries and sucks itself down. But here it is, just with the green without. And you can see that that's okay. It's fine. It's fine. This is fine. But it looks better with more variation. So that's why we do this. That's why I do this. I don't know why other people might do this. Oddly, this is very calming and therapeutic. It seems like doing the same thing and the same thing you get like nah. I used to get really picky about the perfectionism of it, and now I'm just like, nope, I'm just having a good time stuffing glue and sawdust on things. It's all good. Glue and sawdust. Woo. All right, so what we got? Yeah, I probably have quoted Rocky Horror in my sleep. I definitely can. That's not even a question. People will say just random phrases here and there, and it's like that little snippet of their sentence, which isn't even the whole sentence. That part is in something Rocky, and I'll be like, find myself distracted from what they're saying because I'm already singing it in the back of my head. I used to. I don't know if I can now that I'm a little older and some body parts have aged, but I used to be able to hit and hold and carry the Janet high note in that one song. But that's been a while, and I am not doing that to y'all. I'm not doing that to y'all. All right. My thoughts on shock treatment are, in Rocky Horror, the last one in the pool is punished by having to be in shock treatment, and that is why Columbia is the only same actor or actress that's in shock treatment. I did not hate it, but I've only seen it like 3 times, and I find it utterly forgettable. I don't remember anything about it except the line, dun, 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 and that's all I know of the song. That's literally all I know of the song. Okay. Now we got the top on this roadway here, or walkway, or whatever it is. Oh, this is a walkway. This is built the same height as the city blocks, not as the roadways. This is actually tall enough to be a city block. So, and yeah, looking good. That one I had to blow the dust off. That one had too much on it because the flat surface. But are we living in the 16th century? Yeah, pretty much. I presume that's a line from Shock Treatment, but I don't know that line. Like I said, I've seen it 2 or 3 times a gajillion years ago. I've been to a Rocky live show that was, I've seen Rocky Horror. I've seen the Rocky Horror Show, which is the play done by live. Myself sat in the audience by 6, I think it's 6 different troops. And I have seen the live show of like the people that act it all out and do stuff during the movie running. That's called casting. The cast does stuff. And I have, every costume in that movie, I've worn it. I have played every part in that movie in cast stuff. You can take from that what you will. I am a big guy who does not look good in gold lame. And I'm not just harshing on myself. I've seen pictures. I'm like, ooh, why did I put that on? Yeah, the people acting it on stage while the movie plays in the background. Yes, I have been that person. Yeah, I'm just going to say more than 1,000 times. And that's not even including all the times when we were practicing and did it in front of like a, okay, I'm going to wreck all the young kids' brains here. Back when you used to watch it on a TV, on a VHS recording. Keep in mind, it wasn't available on a VHS recording. How did we get them? I don't know. Fell off the back of a truck with Transylvanian license plates. I guess. I don't know. If y'all don't get that joke, I can't explain Rocky Horror to you. If anybody's ever thinking, well, maybe I'll see it one of these days, don't see it on cable or whatever. Go see a live show. The movie is what it is. It's an homage to like 3 different genres of movie. And it's amazing the little subtle details that Richard got into the movie. It's really a love affair movie with horror and 50s schlock sci-fi and that sort of thing. It's not a great movie. The point of the movie now is the experience. If you're not there for the audience participation, then it's not the same. And no, seeing it with friends that haven't seen it and having a bunch of you in your living room and seeing it's not really the same. Now, that could probably be a good time for real. But if they don't already know at least some of the known lines that people say all the time, you're going to lapse into silence halfway through the movie and just watch and be like, what the hell was that? It's not a fantastic movie. What it represents and what it shows and what it showcases and what it is an homage to is a masterwork. But the film itself, oh, Lord. But I absolutely love it. If I'm super broke and don't really get out of the house much, but if somebody showed up right now, somebody walked in and said, hey, glad to see your basement. You want to go see Rocky this weekend? Yes, I do. Will you wear the gold lame? No, I will not. Nobody wants to see that. I don't want to see that. Okay. Done with stare. Okay, done with all. Oh, did that whole tray. That whole tray is done. All right, let's work on something. And now for something completely different. A Monty Python reference, because that has never happened on this channel before. All righty. I'll take you. Swap you here. And here. Now this is one I didn't put any moss or sand or anything on. And I'm still thinking of taking this and putting some little bits here and there of the lighter moss. Yeah, the soundtrack's amazing. My friend found me at the showing and I got lipstick, the drawing in red lipstick because yeah, it must have been good lipstick if it stained you that much. Must have been like theater grade with the heavy oil and all that. We watched every Halloween. Yeah, I watch it all the time. I don't not just Rocky Horror. I watch Rocky Horror like all the time. Or something will come up and I'll be like, oh, I have copies of it on my computer and stuff. So it's whatever. I have personally owned and purchased and bought or gotten or received or been gifted on DVD twice and on VHS twice. I don't have any of those copies, but I do now have digital copies on my computer. But I did legally own them. Yeah, Elvira's an amazing person. Before they can't do that anymore for the obvious reasons, I'm not going to toss it out there because the universe likes to curse me. I think somebody said that they should have a quote bad witch, good witch, but they should both team up and go fight the same thing because they find out they're on the same side. And Elvira and Dolly Parton should play the opposite sides of the sisterhood there. And both of them have said they'd be willing to do it, and nobody's put the movie together yet, or the series or whatever. I'm like, even if it's a comedy short, man, can you imagine Elvira and Dolly Parton in a semi-goth schlock kind of movie? People like, Dolly Parton, she's a professional. She does such a good job when she's acting. And I'm like, I've seen 9 to 5. That is not a fantastically made movie. It is a fantastic movie, but it is not. Yeah, and she said that she would be down with that, and so is I can't remember the name of the lady that plays Elvira, but yeah, both of them have said they'd totally be down to do that if the script was right and they could get time. And I'm like, do it. Okay. Now, I ran into some problems that last time because I kept dragging my hand through the wet glue, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on here so I don't have that issue. I will cover this up with the stuff, and then I will move to the next quadrant of this box. Okay, now, I haven't even been checking to see if I'm in the thing. Oh, yeah, good. I'm in the camera. That's good. All right, what do we got going on? Cassandra Peterson. Yes, thank you. Thank you. So Cassandra and Dolly have both said that they would be interested in it at different times when people ask them. I don't know if they've been serious about, oh, yeah, I totally do that, or they were just saying it to get through that interview and move on with their day. But can you even imagine? Oh, my gosh, that would be so cool. And they are both fantastically nice people. I am surprised that Dolly Parton has not been more vocal recently about certain things, and I'm not going to get too into all of the stuff, but I keep getting things about the I really can't avoid politics completely, but long story short, funding for libraries is in danger, and she has donated over 1 million books. And I'm like, I'm surprised she isn't doing more to be like, save our libraries, save literacy thing. But that's it. That's all the politics you're getting from me tonight. I just think I'm just surprised at it. That's all. Alrighty. This part's not as fun as the other. This is kind of a pain in the butt. The trick here is trying to make it look natural, because us crazy apes, we want to make everything have patterns. And sometimes you don't want everything to have pattern in nature. I mean, technically it's all fractal, but that's not what I'm talking about. All right. A little bit there. Let's cut a little bit more past this quadrant. Let's wipe off the stuff I got on top of the things. And yeah, okay. I got quiet again. Sorry about that. I'll look up at the screen and read what y'all are saying in just a second. Let me get this spread around on here. There we go. Put my hand right in the glue. Told you I was going to do that. Have I ever lied to you? Probably. Okay. Well, that was freaking useless. Let's try that again. While I'm doing that, let's look up. Oh, good night, Kim. Have a good night. I missed that you were leaving. Sorry about that. Yeah, that'd be great. Wednesday Adam and her werewolf friend. Can you imagine Dolly being a werewolf? I can see her coming in being like, oh, woo, y'all. That'd be hysterical. I'm not making fun. I'm a redneck too. Oh. Who else leaving? Simpesson leaving. Questboard leaving. Everybody's leaving. All right, anybody's leaving. As Sim said, GG. Good game. The only movie okay, my favorite, I wouldn't say Rocky Horror is my favorite movie. It's not that I like the movie. I don't go out of my way to just watch the movie just because. Sometimes when it occurs to me, I do watch it because I have it. But it's not my favorite movie. Some people are like, "What's your favorite song?" I'm like, "Of what genre?" Such and such. Okay, of what decade? What? Why do you got to be so picky? Well, I like a lot of songs. What's your favorite movie? Dark Crystal. That was easy. Yep. What's your second favorite movie? Labyrinth. What's your third favorite movie? I don't know. After that, it gets a little convoluted, and I got to pick a favorite from like 30 or 40 of them. Yeah, Rocky Horror is not my favorite movie, despite some people still saying that they think it is, even after I've told them, no. I like all the geeky dorky classics. I mean, like, I quote from Spaceballs. I quote from Princess Bride, etc. I love all the Monty Python stuff, even some of the stuff that other people don't seem to like. I enjoy. Some of it, let's see. There's something that a lot of people like and expect me to like, and I would think I like, and I don't, but I'm trying to think of what it is. But yeah. There's some stuff that I'm like, why am I not a fan of this? And then I'll watch it and I'll be like, yep, this didn't grab me. I already mentioned Buckaroo Banzai. I love that, but it's not like I watch it every day. Though I have quoted and posted pictures from Buckaroo Banzai this last week because the anniversary of it coming out onto limited release was this week. It actually came out in full release in about 3 weeks from now, back in the day. So I have been paying a lot of attention to Buckaroo Banzai lately. Johnny Mnemonic, the movie, came up. I don't really like the movie. Movie lacks, but that's only because I've read the short story. Now, they had to do a lot. They had to make a 2-hour movie with like 9 pages of book. It's hard to flesh that out. I'm looking at you, Peter Jackson, and your three issues of The Hobbit. But it's hard to flesh out a story into more movie than it really requires. And so I should like Johnny Mnemonic, but I like the story way better than... there we go. This does not have any darker green line, and I don't know that I will, because it's actually... can't really tell in this light, but it's actually pretty dark. So it is 8 o'clock. I thought it was later than that, so good. That gives me a chance to get some moss onto some other things. I think I'm going to do some of my stair steps that I did before. So y'all are probably tired of seeing those, because y'all have seen me paint, base coat them. Y'all have seen me put the undercoats of the greens and blues on. Y'all have seen me... I think the only thing y'all haven't seen is the dry brush on that. Okay, I know I'm going to need more of this. Let's go ahead and... whoa, that's fine. I'm going to set this off somewhere so nothing gets set on top of it. This is where I got that smear of that glue. And now I'm kind of, pardon the pun, stuck with it. Oh well, if I really had to, I could come by after it's fully dry and just rub it with my finger and it'll come off. But then I may have to touch up the paint, and it's literally not worth it. Nobody's going to know but me, and these are going to have buildings plunked down on them anyway, so whatever. Whatever. I do what I want. South Park's one that speaking of things that I should like but don't. I used to really enjoy South Park, and at some point I was just like, oh, they're kind of trying a little hard, and I kind of stopped watching. And then they got into a different feel, and apparently they're much better now. And I'm like, yeah, I've got too many other things to be involved in. So, no shade to South Park, but no particular specific love for South Park either. It is what it is. And I'm dropping. Are you aware that you're dropping stairs at an alarming rate, sir? That's a Futurama reference for anybody who didn't catch that. Okay. That's, did I not get moss on these? Huh. Strange. Well, this may be fun. So, I guess I could do 2 colors. Nope, that way madness lies. So we're going to take these, stack them up, and I guess I'll put this moss on first and then come back with the darker moss later. All right, let me check the chattiness over here and see if I've missed anything while I've been over there. Thank you, Sim. I'm glad you enjoy. You're going to run off. All right, you have a great night. I'm glad you've been enjoying the streams. And I've certainly been enjoying watching your Palea stuff and your Disney stuff and other stuff as well. I always like watching your stuff. All right. Yeah, I saw that they're making Spaceballs 2. I've seen the preview. They better get on that. Mel is 98. The thing is set to come out in 2 years. It's set to come out when he's 100. I hope he's here to see it. I don't mean to throw any shade on it, but he seems like a guy that can handle talk about mortality. I'm really hoping that he's still around when that movie comes out. But yeah, a friend of mine's like, a friend of mine said he's going to be upset if they don't call it what Mel actually said in the first one. He said he's going to be upset if it's not actually called Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money. And I can see where that's coming from. And knowing Mel Brooks, he might actually do it. Not knowing. It's not like I know him, but you know what I mean. I cannot think of a Mel Brooks movie that I have not enjoyed. I pretty much like everything he's done that I can think of off the top of my head. Nope. Did he do, or was he just involved with, is Men in Tights his? Because for whatever reason, I just don't like that movie. And I really don't know why. There's nothing wrong with that movie. Nothing at all. Nothing. It just doesn't grab me. And maybe it's because I start at the beginning every time. I've seen the first scene up until about when, spoilers, 30-year-old movie, I've seen about until the point where, let's just go with Blinken's in the castle and then he's not. And for whatever reason, I've seen it up to that point like 4 times. And I never seem to catch it partway through any other time. And I don't like it enough to go looking for more to it than that. Maybe that's a failing on my part. I don't know. It seems like a perfectly good movie. And there's another movie that I didn't like too much. I don't remember what it was. I honestly don't. And there was another one. And they said, well, maybe you just don't like that one actor guy, the guy that played the prince. I can't remember his name. And I'm like, he's all right. I don't dislike him, but it's not enough to hold me in the movie. Already painted all the way, or blocked all the way around. Didn't realize it. Ooh, this one I didn't though. One more in there. Okay. Okay, bye. The sim peasant disappeared. All right, Spaceballs 2. Da, da, da. Okay, so I haven't missed any messages. I sometimes get involved in this and I either forget to talk to y'all or I forget that there's chat I need to read. And so trying really hard to get better about that. Okay, before I go further, remember I said one time in like 3 videos ago that sometimes the glue separates and pulls out, and you can see that there's actually a gap where the sand pulled to both the top and bottom here, or front and back here, depending on how you're holding it. But if you don't like the way that looks, which I don't, drop a glue in there and some glue on here in a couple other places. Then you take that flock and that hole's covered up. And if it's not, when you come back by, if that hole reopens or doesn't look the way you want, that's where y'all may be here for that as well. I'm going to come back and put darker flock on that at some point as well. So, and then they're all getting a little bit of green paint, brighter green paint, like a neon apple sort of green paint, or a yellow. And you can fill in all those holes. There's nothing to this. It's really simple. It's really straightforward. It's just repetitive. That's why I like to do these streams and come back to the things. I know it might seem like it's a little boring, but I feel that I'm showing y'all what is actually involved in what I'm doing. I think that artists, especially in light of certain technologies and things like that, but I think artists are not getting paid. I don't really get paid for what I do here, but some artists in general don't get paid for what they do, whether that's people who build wooden things that you can use, or that's people who make sculptures, things. And I think if more people maybe knew what actually goes into all of this, there would be handmade art or handmade artisanal stuff, even if it's not specifically art. I feel, in my opinion, this is just me talking out of my butt, but I am an artist, so artisan. So I feel that it is perfectly understandable and respectable that handmade stuff that you can get mass produced, but the handmade stuff should be valued more. And by valued, I mean literally pay more for it. I am not just saying that because I do it, and I would love to make this a full-time career, but I think that arts and crafts type stuff should be valued more than it is. And it's just baffling to me that there's people that will go see a craftsman make a thing, they'll watch a whole video on a long thing of it, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing, that's so beautiful. And they'll even potentially go to the artist's web page or web presence or whatever, and then go, oh wow, that seems a lot, and then they'll go buy a thing for a fifth the price that's half made of plastic and slapped together with prefab parts, and be like, oh well, I got the thing, and it's not the same. It's not the same. And I just kind of find it. I feel that me showing what actually goes into this sort of thing, whether it's mine or what, because I'm not making any money off this, so let's go with other. But I'm hoping that it leads other people when they go to look at other artists' things, that maybe they'll pay the artists what they need to survive, because those artists, it is just as hard to learn stuff like this as it is to learn anything else. I'll tell you right now, stuff that I'm doing here, I have way more hours and study in this, and my cosplay stuff and my LARP stuff and all of that, and the game I'm writing and all of that. I have way more time, effort, and brain power invested in this than I ever did in college and my degree. And I went to college for like 8.5 years. And this is hours and hours and hours of knowledgeable work. And I just feel like there's so many artists out there that should be getting what they deserve and aren't. And that was even before certain current technologies kind of threw a wrench in the system. Now, I think those things I don't think they're built to last. I don't think they're here to stay, but I think we'll use them, but not in the same way. So I think that there's going to be less of that. But yes, some people can take their painting or whatever, and make a mass-produced print of it and sell the prints as posters and make money that way. And that's excellent. There's nothing wrong with that. That's totally legit. But there's others that will like have an artist commission something and they'll make them something, and then they'll take that thing and they'll turn around and mass produce it as if they had something to do with it. And that has irked me since at least the 80s. So that's not going away. I don't know. Just went off my little artists need to get more money rant there for a second. Not need, deserve. But again, that's just me talking out of my butt. Oop, that's not. Don't put this stuff. Like, I came for a nice chill thing where you were just putting moss on it and you're talking about economics and yes, well, sorry. Speaking of economics, that is one thing I studied in college. Since we were talking about college a moment ago. Okay. So, as you can see, this is the sort of difference it's making just by adding a little bit of moss. And I haven't even added the other color yet. So, yeah. All right. So it's 8:11. Wow, the time is. I'm having a good time. I'm accomplishing a lot tonight. I keep thinking it's way later than it is. I don't want to keep y'all late, but I'm probably going to be on here about another 15, 20 minutes. So, I'll probably finish these other. Not this one, and then 8 more stairs, and then I will call it a night because these have been going pretty quick. All righty. Okay. Not a fan of Robin Hood Men in Tights. Okay, you're the only. Yeah, there's other people that are like, yeah, I don't get it. And I know one guy who absolutely can't stand it. He like hates it. Me, I just don't want to have to sit and watch through it. I'm like, it doesn't grab me enough to sit through it. I'm not angry over it, but he's like, oh my God, that movie. I'm like, okay. You are a trained artist, including the degree, which is why I work in a silica processing fab. Yeah, exactly. I know somebody who is a classically trained graphic artist, and they have, there's a term for it. I don't remember what it's called, but when your eye is basically the same as having perfect pitch, but for your vision, and they can see colors perfectly, and to the point where they can tell you if you have a sheet of 20 different reds, they'll tell you which one is which color. I'm looking for the one that's this by this manufacturer, and they'll be like, yeah, it's that one. They're like fantastic. They repair. They used to repair other people's paintings, like restorations and stuff. And there's not even the money for that in what they do. And yeah, it kind of sucks. But their thing is, yep, I've got an art degree, and I have worked for major museums doing art restoration of classic pieces. Would you like fries with that? Actually, he doesn't. He works in an insurance company, but you know, you get the point. Silica processing. Whew. I know I'm working with this dust here, and I should be wearing my breather, but you need to wear your breather, buddy. I gotcha. Degree is Bachelor of Fine Arts in metalsmithing. I have. There's another arts and another terrain crafter that has also put out some Kickstarters for metal stuff that they do, like specialty coins to give. If you're giving your player, here's a coin to show that, like, when you have advantage or a boon or whatever, and makes those, and also makes like metal dice, and not just the same stuff you can get mass produced everywhere of like metal, what I call Ren Fair tableware, but like that, but really, really nice versions of it. And I cannot for the life of me remember what the name of that channel is, but I am subscribed to it. So if you come to the Discord, which I know you do, and you remind me, I'll go looking that one up. Okay. Oh, good. Yeah. More than stringent on it. Yeah, good. Because silica will jack you up. On the other hand, it's really freaking useful and awesome. I have silica on the piece I'm using right now, but it's straight sand, so that's not really quite the same thing. Do y'all produce for like one style that gets used in one industry, or do you just get silica and put it into the forms they need? I'm being all nosy about your job here. But yeah, the PPE is the thing. Do the thing. There's a channel called Steady Crafting, and it's Craftsman Steady Crafting, and Craftsman actually puts out some like his own music and stuff on his videos, and one of the ones he's got is "Don't forget to wear your dust mask. Don't forget to wear your dust mask." Yeah, it's not only a catchy earworm sort of song, it also reminds you, don't forget to wear your dust mask. I realize I'm not telling anybody anything new. There are lots of people know who Craftsman is. Craftsman makes a living from art. I don't know what he actually studied. But I remember the first videos that I got into wasn't even based on like terrain crafting. He did here's the simplest, easiest way I found to do DIY myself with some wet paper transfers, and he transferred a bird onto a block of wood, and I was just absolutely captivated by his style and presentation. But he's a huge 70s and 80s toy fan, and has mostly Star Wars figures originally, but has muscle figures, and all sorts of plastic stuff. And now a lot of his income is from his family has a line of various little plastic tchotchke toys that are reminiscent of older styles that they, his daughter's good at some of the design work, and then his son will help him turn it into a more technical sort of drawing for what they need for this, and that, and the other. And then he's got a great interest in like plastic molding and both injection molding, and he's got injection molding machines like the hand cranked ones, but also the I cannot remember what it is, the Japanese plastic style Gofubi, something like that. And he's got a whole line of toys and stickers and everything else that they do. I think it's amazing. And yeah, so I love it when artists can get their art out there. Microcrystalline silica goes into lots of stuff: paint, ceramics, glass, ceiling tiles, floor, fireproof doors, abrasives, desk skins, polish. I'm on the wrong side of the pond, I think, but I have definitely used some of the materials that have that in it. I used to do construction, lots of art, insulation panels, and, as you said, acoustic panels for the ceiling and stuff like that. This is a joke. Warning: nobody take the next couple of sentences seriously. This is a joke. We had asbestos back in my day, and it was fine. If it was good for my granddaddy, it's good enough for me. And If he hadn't died of COPD, he'd be here to tell you that. Sorry, I've warned y'all before. I'm into dark humor. I know I just cracked a joke about death. Sorry about that. I have a joke about death that is at my grandfather's expense, and he would have thought it was funny. I always say that any day above ground's a good one. My grandfather always said that, but he's dead, so what does he know? He would have actually thought that was funny. He was kind of a weird character himself. Much of my character is blamed on my grandfather. And by blamed, I mean, I love it. Wouldn't have it any other way. And he was a work with your hands kind of guy. He was a pipe fitter. He used to make me the coolest, like 3D puzzles and stuff when I was a kid out of scrap and crap, as he called it, from that was left over at his work. And he'd take like, this 4-inch piece of pipe and he'd cut it off at a weird angle from this 2-inch thing here. And the next thing you know, it's like one of those like metal bar puzzles. I have seen, I've had friends that have been like, what the hell? How did you? I have seen new puzzles at a store, picked it up, solved it, and set it back down. My friends are like, you've seen that one before. And I'm like, no, I've just seen 40 or 50 that work like it. And I was like, yeah. So he even made me a belt once. Thought that was pretty cool. There was a bunch of little tubes inside a bigger tube, and then they were cut at an oblique angle. And then those were spot welded together, and then those had a little hook attached to them. And fantastic belt buckle. I had that for years and years and years and years and years, but it was one of many things I've lost in my life. I've had 3 encounters with water, let's put it that way, directly. I've had another couple of indirect encounters with water. And I've also had 2 fires where I've lost a lot of stuff I used to own. And I looked at my gaming shelf now, you'd be like, you lost a bunch of games? I'm like, yeah. You have so many? Yes, but they're all since then. What was my point in that? Oh, I don't have the belt buckle. That was my point. There's a little hole, and I'm not going to fill it. I'm going to pretend that like that's where a little creature lives or something. I will probably never remember that and never notice that hole again, but I'm not putting glue in it. This is the last one. After this, I'm going to call it quits. I'm going to come back and talk to you face to face here in a minute, give you all my thanks and all that kind of stuff. But basically, I am done for the evening. If y'all want to take off and this is it, go away. And y'all want to go away and run off, and yeah, that's fine. I'm good with that. But for right now, I'm starting to pack it up. Let's get the lid on the glue first. And yeah, I was going to say something else, but I'll remember it when I'm looking at the camera. Oh, I know what I was going to say. And it involves looking at the camera. So I am just going to trust that I'm not going to spill that. And I'm going to leave that there, slide that back. Yeah, so please, as I said, like, share, and subscribe. I always forget to say that. Please do that. Especially the liking. That the subscribing comes up. The sharing is always good, but that's what the algorithm's for. The liking, and please leave a comment, because the comments seem to drive algorithm more than anything else. My channel has been growing lately, and I think that's great. I think part of that has to do with the fact that I keep coming back and doing this on a regular basis every Sunday afternoon. And I plan on doing that for the foreseeable future. Today is number, if I remember correctly, 24 in a row, something like that. I don't know. I'd have to go count all my lives. But yeah, so let me turn off this light here so I don't blind y'all. And then I got a question about the lighting from the front. Whoops, clicked the wrong thing. All right, so my lighting here. You'll notice I got rid of all that yellowy stuff. What happened was I put 2 lights in here, which give a little more light, and that way I could have that one dimmer. I told you all about this last time, that the white light is super bright, and it's, I don't know if y'all know about frequencies of light. It's a really hot light. It's a really red light. But if I just put on the brightest blue instead, now I don't look like I'm staring into the eyes of the sun. So I do try to make the videos a little bit, the live streams a little better every time, So, yeah. All right. So, I was something specific I was going to say. before I went, but I guess it's going to have to wait because I don't remember what it was. Oh well. So if this is your first time, if you've never seen me before and this is your first time, I am here to either just show off creative stuff or hopefully inspire others to do it themselves. Anybody's been like, oh, I can't do that. Yes, you absolutely can. There is nothing to this. Now, will your first one be fantastic and magnificent? Maybe not. But this is super laid back stuff. It's super repetitive. It is super repetitive, laying down bricks, laying down tiles. Yeah. But they always come out looking so good. And if you are a gamer or if you're a diorama builder, you can end up making some amazing stuff super simple. It's just a matter of learning the process and then repeat. And it's easy. So that is what I'm really here for. If you have been here before, you already know all that and you've already heard the spiel. Sorry, I just put you through that. If you have not been here before, welcome. Glad to have you. If you have been here before, that means you're one of my returning campaigners, and I hugely appreciate that. Huge shout out to you. Yeah, like, share, subscribe, and please comment. And even if you hate them, thumbs down, still drive it, please. Whatever. Whatever. But this is campaign terrain. This is generally what I do. This, if you watched it tonight, this is what I generally do. This is the basement. I am your host, That Guy Cross. For anybody who's doing any of this, we're family. We're on the same wavelength. We're doing the same, and I love you. And until next time, I wish you luck in your campaign, and that's both on the table and in your real life. Have a great night.